Welcome to Thursday Night Jam with RCJesus and SASquatch on 17th episode.
Hello.
So I guess we've been at it for 22 weeks or something probably now. And tonight, new news that just dropped. No Ultimate Scale Truck Expo in 2024. So I'm sure the internet is about to burn down due to that for the next couple days in the RC community. Don't know who all is going to be in here that has gone or was planning to go. Fortunately, I'm good. We're not out deposits on hotels or tiny houses or rooms or camping spots or anything. So that's nice. I'm sure there probably will be a few people, unfortunately, that were booked and can't get, a deposit they put down back. But it's so far out that most of these places, if you had money down, you should get it back. I am not fully privy to what's going on. I saw the post the same as everyone. I talked to Rob for a minute, but not a lot of information. So we'll figure it out. Is that going to change anyone out there's plans and what they're doing for the year? Will that make you go to a different event somewhere else in the country or anything like that? Because now you have freed up money and time this year to use elsewhere. What do we got? I finally get a paid occasion, then the delay. Yeah, right, Jerry? Random Gaming. That's how it goes. There's Beat the Creek in May. That's a big one. Ledge Stock is actually in like 2 weeks. That's a good one to go to up in, is that Vermont or New Hampshire? I can't remember, somewhere up there. I was supposed to go, but it starts on my daughter's first day of school. And I've never missed one of her first days, and she wants me to be there. So, of course, I'm going to be there. That takes precedence over the events without even a thought. So I will be missing Ledge Stock now, sadly. I thought it was a week or two later in August than it is. What else do we have going on? If you're in the 114th stuff, this makes it easier for me. Chris is bummed. He was going to go this year. It was supposed to be his first one. I've been getting my phone blown up for the last 3-4 hours. Beep, beep, beep. Alerts going off, like 18 different message notifications. USTE really canceled? What's going on? Oh my God. I'm in group chats that people are freaking out. It's a bummer. I'm going to miss some of my friends that I get to see, but most of the people I see at USTE, I see at least once somewhere else in the year. So that's not so bad for me. I know a lot of people won't have that issue. It's their one big event. And so if they're missing it, they're going to miss a lot of people that they won't see for a couple of years. But it's very expensive and time consuming and stressful and a lot of work for me. So I'm almost relieved to have a year off. I'm very curious to see what the new location is going to be. Saying centrally located is interesting. Centrally located in Florida, as it already was. Maybe it'll just move to the Gainesville area or something like that. Cotton's got his RC park going. There's Scale Mountain. There's other areas of land they could potentially use in Central Florida area. Or is it centrally located like Missouri, Iowa, like out in the middle of the country, centrally located on the East Coast, like Tennessee, Kentucky. I don't know. And I didn't get any answers on where it's going to be. So I can't tell you. You can speculate wildly. I'm not going to even guess what that means. I would assume it will probably still be in Florida because 98% of the people that do all the work live in Florida. But could it move to an entire new state and region location? It sure could. I have no idea. I'm curious like everyone else. Jerry, I was going to message you. Yeah, you and a lot of other people. It's been a long evening. Completely shocked about the hiatus. Hope it comes bigger and better than ever. Yeah, for sure, Jeff. What up, Orrin? Camp Fabrication. How you guys doing tonight? So it's, for me personally, it's almost like a vacation from workcation. I get to skip it this year. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I have a lot of other events, like I said, where I'm going to see people and do stuff, so it's not a big deal. I have cabin fever in mid-January, which made it hectic doing cabin fever, and then 3 weeks or a month later, USTE. So now I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to go all out on cabin fever as far as my gear jammer stuff and my builds and making sure equipment's ready. I'll have a new piece of equipment that I'm buying at Cabin Fever. I've already arranged the purchase. I'm just not physically paying for it and getting it until Cabin Fever because I spent my heavy equipment fund for the year. So it'll be great. I know at the very end, there's a quick announcement that baby Matthews is coming. So I have to assume the Rama Panda are pregnant and they've got a little boy or girl coming probably in 6 to 8 months or something from now, I would think. Again, I don't know. I told him congratulations and he's just like, thanks. I didn't get a lot of details because I'm sure Rob as well is getting blown up with messages, phone calls, texts, all that, being as he runs USTE since this news came out. But yeah, it'll probably be a short night tonight. We're up in Michigan. I'm messing around on this F-18. I've never gotten to fly because it got hanger rash, it's called, when it gets damaged in storage or travel or whatever. And you don't even fly it and shit's broken because it fell over, hit something wrong. So I've got a bad elevator on the back and one that's missing a piece of hardware. So I got a little work to do to fly it tomorrow, hopefully. I'm excited to fly this bad boy. It's pretty sweet. These are awesome. It's a good size, twin EDF. All the rockets and tanks and missiles and everything, all the landing gear works. I think the dog broke that elevator. And then, like I said, the other one I'm missing a piece of hardware for. So I got boxes of stuff over here with parts I got to dig through.
Whose F-18 is that? Who makes that one?
This is E-Flight, I believe it was. Yeah, it's E-Flight. E-Flight F-18. I might have been discontinued now, but I think they're still making it. They just might be making it a different livery without the red and black rudders, vertical fins. The landing gear on this is really dope the way they did it. So I've never flown a fast EDF, so I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I was flying my apprentice today, scaring the crap out of my buddy that lives next door. Just doing nosedives and coming like 3 feet from crashing into the barn or the silo. I'm like, oh yeah, it's been like a year since I flew, but it's all come back. This is a riot. So I got my break in today. I'll fly the big T-28 and the EC-1500 and the apprentice and stuff some more tomorrow. Then I'll finish the evening with this puppy that's zipping around at 90, 120 miles an hour, whatever it's going to do, something ludicrous. It'll probably be 100 plus, I would guess. It should sound awesome. What's Orange saying? Good. Yeah, I'm excellent, man. Chilling up in Michigan with the kiddo and the dog. But kind of glad it's moving. Well, you don't know where it's moving to. It might be moving 20 miles down the road. It might be moving 800 miles away. Who knows? I was hoping to see some wild speculation because I was going to egg it on. Because like I said, I don't really have a fucking clue what's going to happen. But I'm willing to egg you guys on. They should move it here. No, it's for sure going here. This is going to happen because most of it's going to be wrong. So it's just entertaining. But yeah, it's an easy night. What are you up to, Chris?
Me? Nothing RC related right now. Been busy.
No.
I got my website up and going, selling kits and stuff now. That's about as far as I've gone.
I saw your post about that. That's cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, it took a while to get all the inventory in and sort it and set up like a picking area. So
yep. It's all about where's my glasses now? It's all about having that organization and being able to do it smooth and quick and efficiently. I have to set it up like when I'm packing parts and doing that kind of shit, otherwise it takes forever.
Is that a twin 60 mil or a twin 80 mil?
Twin 80.
Oh yeah, that'll do 100. That'll do it.
Yeah, it should haul ass pretty well.
Just remember with EDFs, there's always a throttle delay. You tell it to do something, it takes a second for it to spool up.
Yeah, it's not as bad as a turbine, but not like a prop, right?
Yeah, it takes a while for it to build that positive pressure in the duct. So you gotta you hit the throttle and you got 1, 2, go. It's gonna take a second.
Oh, it's a couple second lag, huh? Not like half second or second.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how many blades are the fans.
That I don't know.
Yeah. More blades, less lag, less speed. Less blades, more speed, more lag.
Okay. That's good to know. I had no idea about that.
And
dumping
pitch
on
of the
bags
blade
and parts here.
Yeah, pitch of the blade matters too, but that's kind of, they just standardize it. But yeah, more blades, less blades changes things a little bit.
Yeah, because I know like with the props, it's kind of like tuning your Perns pinion, you know, the size and the pitch and all that stuff affects how hot it's gonna get and all that crap.
There's a lot of math and science with props.
Yeah, I just buy what they tell me to because I don't even want to get into it. Like, this is what I need. Okay, thank you.
I have so many props laying around. Anytime I have a brand new plane, I go through 3, 4, 5 till I find the one I like. So it's ridiculous. It's just like an RC car, though. You go on a track, and you're gonna fuck with your pinion and your spur and your slipper, so you get it the way you want it. So it's the same thing.
That is very true.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good times. Yeah, EDFs are fun. They are fun. I still prefer a propeller for flying fast, though.
Oh yeah, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I still prefer a prop plane for flying fast. They are more predictable and more responsive because all that airflow from the prop is going over your control surfaces. On a jet, you're pushing all the air out the back, so you're relying on your speed to control it. So
yeah,
it's a little different with your control surfaces on a jet. They're fun to fly, though. God, they're fun to fly. But still prefer a prop.
I'm excited. It should be a good time. Because this one, I bought it and then just hung it up in the shop for a while. I got it up here last year and then shit broke. So it's just been, I've had it like 3 years now and it's never been in the air. Like, come on. And now I'm looking and it looks like I have all of the hardware for it except for the piece I need for the elevator, which would be fitting. And, you know, Horizon, what's today? Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. So Horizon's close enough to me in Michigan here right now from being in Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
I could order something and have it here Monday and fly Monday, except with the new update to the system and that whole clusterfuck going on. I'm not even going to think about counting on that. You know what I mean? So I'm probably SOL. I'm probably going to find that I have every part under the sun I could ever need for it, except for the one I need. Yeah.
What broke? What is it?
Murphy's Law. I'm missing a little collar piece that goes in here, or in there, this part here. And then it attaches with a set screw to the rod.
Yeah.
And I don't have it. Could have swore I had a new set of elevators that might have come with the hardware, but I'm finding rudders and wings with no elevators. So I probably did get absolutely everything I need, potentially, for crashes and hanger rash and stuff, except for the things I actually need, you know, typical. But I might have some more boxes out in the other room I'll dig through later. I need to get myself a good shelving unit and storage and work area set up because I just wrench on the planes on the floor because they're big. The LST, the pinion gear is seized onto one of the shafts, so I've got it in the freezer right now. I'm going to take it out of the freezer and heat the pinion up with heat and try and pop it off. Because I've been fighting that and it doesn't want to come off. Of course, my tools and everything I have to work with up here are very limited. So it is what it is. The LST will hopefully be fixed before I leave, but it all depends on that pinion fighting me. Because the pinion that off the bad ring gear that was in the transmission doesn't look that bad, but it also doesn't look perfect and flawless like the one I took out of the other tranny. So I don't really want to put it in and have it run good for 15 runs and then blow out again because of weird wear. And
especially
stuff.
If they're used gears, you want to keep the worn into each other.
Yeah, just like a cam and lifters or anything like that. You want it worn together. So that's what I'm fighting on that. You know, nothing can ever be easy.
No.
Especially when you're not home with all your stuff. I mean, I've got a lot of crap here because we're up here 3-4 times a year for a week at a time, but there's a lot I don't have. What's up, Rob? Mr. TT4C? Or just go buy a plane if you want to learn to fly, my man. It's super easy, and it's the most fun out of anything in RC. Construction stuff I really love, but flying is even above that. And nowadays, with the radios and the safe technology and all the crap they have going on, you can literally get one out of the box, rubber band the wings on, plug a battery in. If you buy it RTF, the radio, I think, is set up, and it's that easy to just take off and start flying. I mean, now they've even got, like, Jeremy and Chrissy got the Habu, which is like a 70mm fast jet, and they're selling those as trainers now. I was like, I'd get like an apprentice or something first. It'll be easier. But they've actually, because of the safe mode, you know, that babies you for it and half flies it for you, so you can get comfortable. They haven't had many issues. They've had a couple little crashes and scuff ups, but the plane still flies. It's still good to go. 10 years ago, you got an EDF like that, they would have had it in the ground at 60 miles an hour in the first 10 seconds, and it would be destroyed. Oh God, Oren, yeah, helicopter's a whole different world.
Helis are the hardest thing to do in our
a helicopter, especially years ago, was by far, like, nothing even comes remotely close to as difficult to operate as a heli 10 years ago or 20 years ago. That is a certain set of skills. That's why when I share those videos of the dudes doing crazy 3D flying and the TikToks and all this crazy stuff they can do, this like defies the laws of physics, it looks like. That's more impressive than you know if you've never tried to fly a helicopter. It takes tens of thousands of dollars in crashes and years of experience to get to that point. So that's part of the issue with helicopters. Is it seriously, to get that good will cost you $100,000 or $200,000 just in crashing, you know.
With good simulators and the new gyro stuff, it's a lot easier than it used to be, though.
Yeah, now it's kind of like they've got the safe mode in the helis now too, and it'll fly. You can put it in safe beginner mode, and it flies like a coax. You put it up, and it'll just sit there. You know, if you let off, if you're going right and panicking and let off, it'll just level back off and sit there. So again, helis are a lot easier to learn now for sure, but to get good with the heli is still going to be a pain in the ass. I flew them for several years. I worked, 3-4 years just to get to the point to be able to reliably scale fly and have fun and not crash. And I could fly inverted, and I could do some TikToks and hurricanes and a few simple 3D things, but it was a lot of work. And I just flew the little ones that I could fly inside. They're harder to fly, just like planes. The smaller they get, the twitchier they are, and lighter they are, the tougher they get. Yeah, and that's where you start, Oren, is you just hover. You just sit there, and that's the back in the day. That's what you had to do. It was boring as hell, but you popped it up and hovered it tail in, nose out for like 20 battery packs until you could get that thing to sit perfectly still for all 3-4 minutes of battery time. And then when you're done with that, you spin it around and you fly tail out, nose in, so you can get used to the controls being reversed. And then you got to learn to just hover and sit still like that. It's a lot of patience to do helis well. But planes nowadays, man, getting an apprentice or anything like that, a Cub, a Timber, whatever, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. They're cheap. They're easy. They're riot. They're foam. You know, I can fix this broken elevator if I have to that's back here, because you just BSI glue it back together. You know, use some medium foam safe on it, put together a little accelerator, voila. If you really want to, you can even put a little bit of packing tape, clear packing tape over it. But you want to be careful with doing things like that, because every gram you put here and there will negatively affect how the plane flies. So I use tape very sparingly and just glue. And if it's bad enough, you just buy a new elevator for $15. Not a big deal. But yeah, so that's all I got going on. Since we missed last time I was on the road and we had the USTE news, I figured we would check in and say hi to everybody and see what people's thoughts were. It's going to be real curious to go in the comments of that post in the group tomorrow. Once it's had 24 hours to simmer, so I'm going to be popcorning it up, reading that. I tell Rob, he's like, yeah, I'm just waiting for the internet to melt down now that we posted. I'm like, oh yeah, you're going to have a lot of pissed people. How dare they take time for their own life and a break after 8+ years of brutal work all year round to get it done. But I totally understand. More power to them. I do get concerned because I've seen events take a year off before and try and come back, and it never comes back. You know what I mean? That year, like let's say they used to have 750 people there. They try and come back after a year hiatus, and there's 108 people there. But they still spent money and did everything like all these other people were going to be there, and it just kills it. I've seen that happen more than once to events. So I'm hoping that won't happen with USTE. USTE is so huge and such a big part of the industry as well, not just the hobby, but like actual vendors and everything use it, like a SEMA. You know, new product gets released there. Everyone knows they're going to meet up and have dinners and hang out and discuss business there. So I think it will come back with a vengeance when it comes back in 2025. I'm just really curious where it's going to be, man. I wish I could get them to tell me. I used to be privy to all that stuff.
Well,
I used to be one of the team members and all that, but now I noticed in the video in the credits I wasn't on the team member list anymore. You won't tell me where anyone is. I had to skip a year of helping with Dylan last year. No, not last year, year before. So I think I kind of just got booted off the team, I guess, for that. But it's the same kind of shit. I had to take a hiatus. I had a dog to raise and train, and it was on Saturdays. So but yeah, sadly, I don't have any information for you guys. I'm sure some people jumped in. Nick will know. He'll have answers. He knows these guys. He's there. But I was as shocked today when I got the screenshot and the message as everybody else. Yeah, Oren. What? Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I was looking up your part for your jet.
Oh, thank you.
And it's discontinued.
Of course.
And I can't find it anywhere. I've been looking on eBay and everywhere. It comes with the horizontals, though, just like you thought.
Well, you know, I don't think we have one of these in stock.
It's just a generic collar, though. It's just a.
Oh, it comes with the horizontals too, the verticals?
The part, yeah, it comes with the horizontals, is what that part comes with. The horizontals.
Oh, yeah, the elevators. Okay, yeah. Of course it does. And hopefully I have another box out there somewhere. Maybe it's in my office. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
$39.78.
But yeah, Oren's saying he was thinking about the vendors early in sales and stuff. And for sure, there's vendors there that plan on that. And that can be a good chunk of sales. I've been in some chats where people have been talking about that. Like, oh, that's like 2-3 months worth of sales and future business and all that I'm going to lose now. For me, it's a wash. I spent so much money on the dirt and sand and the tracks and everything, and for sponsor and giveaways, it's thousands and thousands I spend every year. So even though we do really well in sales, by the time I pay for everything, we break even. I don't really make any money at UST. We do great. I mean, thank you very much to everyone that comes by. We couldn't do it without you guys. But I personally, in the shop, we don't go there to make money. We go to support the event. PR, marketing, sales, help people out. No, we're going to have stuff there people need, kind of thing. And as long as we're breaking even or making even a few $100 or $1,000, I'm content. You know, if we weren't breaking even and I was losing $1,000 or $2,000 every year, I probably wouldn't do what I do. And that'll be curious for me. If it's at a new location, what are we going to be? Is anything getting subtracted? Is anything new getting added? How far is it going to be for me as far as me helping and dealing with stuff? So if it's a big location change, it will probably be a dramatic change at the event, because that means different people are going to be building trails and equipment for a lot of it. You know, a lot of people that have been balls deep in it since the beginning probably won't be now. Like if it moves to another state, is it worth me investing several $1,000s in sponsorship and dirt and parts and equipment rental money and blah, blah, blah? If it's up in Tennessee, I don't know. It's not worth that to me. And sadly, I'm going to say I won't do it anymore. So if it does move state, the vintage buggy and construction is probably out of the event right off the bat right there, because I doubt anyone else is going to drop several $1,000s to make all that happen. So again, very curious. A lot could change. A lot could stay almost the same. It's all up in the air. I'm sure over the coming months, information will leak out about a new location. Let us know if the dates are going to still be the same, because if it's a new location and there's other people involved in running it, well, if it's more north, you're probably not going to want to do it in February when it's 40 degrees and could snow or freezing rain. You know, in Florida, we don't have to worry about it. Coldest it's going to be is 35, 40 degrees, but it's never going to snow. It's likely to be 70 or 80. So would it become a March or April event? If it's more in the South or Mid-South than down in America's penis? I don't know. So many questions with no answers. Yeah, I'm sure it hurts the little guys, Jeff. There's a lot of little vendors and little shops and dudes that do it as a side gig or just branched out to do it as their full-time gig, that they probably, you know, they're spending a few $100 on event stuff to get in there and whatnot, and probably selling a few thousand. Dylan, hold on. I got to get the dog back in the bedroom so he's not going crazy and jumping on my plane. Go. Oh. Go. You're good, honey. Okay, so yeah, little guys, it could affect quite significantly. You know, that could change your whole first quarter numbers now of your business. But this kind of stuff is good too. I like when things get shaken up and things change and things aren't stale. We need it, because honestly, an event like UST announcing something is truly a whole industry shaker. Vendors are gonna be doing different things now and trying to find a different place. Beat the Creek is huge, so I'm sure that we're only going to grow in vendors there. That vendor row has gotten massive, probably almost as big as USTE, quite frankly. I guess at least 60-75% of the amount of vendors at USTE are at Beat the Creek.
Well, and
But Beat the Creek's on private property and getting so massive and a ton of work. And the bigger you get, the more people bitch and moan, and the more little issues there are that stress you out. So you never know if Beat the Creek could get capped and become an event like some other events where there's a limit, like East Coast Scale Challenge. There'd be 50 spots in a class or whatever. When those 50 were out, man, that event 6-7 years ago, that event used to sell out in like between 30 seconds to 15 minutes for all the classes, depending on which class. And so could some of these events that have gotten too huge and are too much work and have too many issues for that get limited to 500, 750 people? That's still a lot of people, but at that level, it's a lot different than 1,000, 1,500 people. 2024 may be an interesting year because that USTE announcement changes everything.
Yeah,
Is anyone else on here like thinking about, I know Chris, you were planning to go this year finally, and you were bummed, like, oh well shit, I was finally gonna make it and now it's not gonna happen, you know. But the first thing you asked was, well, what other badass event is there?
Exactly.
The first thing I said, like, especially for you to go, but possibly as a vendor, you know, get out there and meet people and sell product and show off your stuff and explain to people how it works and who you are and all that. That's probably your next best bet because it's huge. You know, USTE would have been the best bet for that because it's really a lot of it's focused on that. And Beat the Creek's number 2 now, just strictly for attendance and for other vendors there.
Yeah.
And people bring money to spend because they know there's going to be vendors there.
Hopefully you'll see some of those smaller events get bigger because those people that had planned to go on USTE might, okay, where else am I going to go now? So we might see some of those other events grow and expand in that one year of absence of USTE.
Yeah, because now they've got a 2 days or a week extra vacation time they're not using. They've got an extra $500,000, $2,000, whatever they had stuffed away to cover UST that they can now spend elsewhere. Yep. So it will be an interesting year next year for events. Yeah, it would have been great, Jeff. And, you know, like I said, who knows where it's going to be, but it'll be worth going to in 25, I'm sure. And if it's not, if it does change and it flops, then we'll find out after 25 because no one's going to go in 26, you know, or it won't happen. I will be there in 25, regardless of where it is, I'm sure, unless something happens with dates and they change and it conflicts with something to do with the kid or something else going on in my life that takes precedence. Really, she's about the only thing that takes precedence over everything else. Otherwise, I can just do whatever the hell I want to. So I 99.9% will be at USTE 25. I'm just as curious as everybody else, though. I've got all these what ifs, possibly, could be's going through my head. And that was a big one for, that was a huge event for Reefs. That was a huge event for Operation Lemon Charlie. They always had dozens of dudes there and dudettes. They came out to represent them and hang out on the trails and relax and talk about what they're about and just chill. Reefs, that was always a huge one for him, and he always brought a whole crew of like 4, 5, 6 dudes usually. Corn Messers with RC Addict was a huge one, K&K. But then again, a lot of these guys, they're at other events too. They're at Beat the Creek as well, you know, they're at Rocktoberfest. They're at Scale, which is also canceled this year, but Slippery Rock Scale Challenge. They're at Ledgestock, you know, the other events around, they host their own events. So they'll make do, I'm sure, and figure it out and make up sales elsewhere. Little guys that maybe only went to USTE because that's really what it was about and that's what they focused on, that might be a little harder for them because they're going to have to figure somewhere else out that's worth them going to meet the same amount of people, shake the same amount of hands, get the same amount of marketing and advertising and sales. But yeah, I guess if no one else has any questions or comments and you got nothing else, Chris, I guess
I was gonna
call it a wrap and I'll go hunt for my elevators and
did you want to
parts
talk
and see
about A-Main and Hobbytown?
What's up, Jeremy? We're just wrapping up. We're calling it an early night, but what about A-Main and Hobbytown?
Did you want to talk about that?
What happened? Maybe I missed it.
A-Main bought Hobbytown.
Really?
Yeah. Announced
Oh,
yesterday.
that convention's going on right now in Orlando, or was last weekend or something.
Yeah, they announced it yesterday or today. I can't remember.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a interesting development.
Damn. 2024 is going to be a crazy fucking year then. Because, I mean, that's not as big a deal as when Horizon bought Great Plains.
No, that was huge.
It's very, very damn significant. A-Main's no joke. They became a distributor. I buy from them probably 5 years ago, 4 years ago. They started their distribution side. Hobbytown has at least, I think, a few hundred locations around the U.S.
Yeah, there's.
So they pretty much cover at least one in every state, I think, if not a dozen.
Well, it works for A-Main though, because A-Main doesn't have a lot of physical stores, so it allows.
No, they had the one in Chico or whatever. I think was the only one, right?
Yeah, so
And A-Main is huge with the bikes too. A lot of people don't know this, but they're huge in like mountain bikes and whatnot as well. That's the other side of the A-Main business. And I think something else. Isn't there a third thing they're into?
I don't know.
I can't remember. So if they own the hobby towns, they could convert the hobby towns probably into mountain bike BMX / RC shops.
Yeah.
And sell. They've got a decent amount of proprietary product now that they make or have made, you know, private labeled for them. So, wow, yeah, I'm glad you said something. I've been hanging with the kiddo and building tree forts and working on shit and telling the town car to the mechanic, and I've had all kinds of shit going. Like you come up here and it's a vacation, but it's not, right? Like I have chores to do and shit going. So I haven't been on Facebook paying attention much at all, really, maybe 10 minutes a day. So I haven't been really following my emails that closely for work. So last few days I'm kind of out of pocket, and that's good to know. That's big. What does everyone think on that?
Yeah, that's a huge one.
That's a pretty damn big deal right there. That's A-Main making a big step up on who they are and what they're worth and what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Hobby towns traditionally, in my opinion, I don't even know if I've ever been in a hobby town myself, but people either you seem to have a good hobby town and people love it, or it's more often than not, I've heard it's shit and they hate them and blah, 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 but it's the only damn store we got. So I go in there and hope to God they might have what I need this chance. So it seems like they're either kicking ass or everyone hates them, depending on the location.
It depends on the employees they get, because if they get just generic people in there and they just follow the script of Hobbytown script,
Yeah.
that's great. But if you get some people that are actually hobbyists in there and they kind of know what to bring in and they that's I've only been in one Hobbytown that was kind of like, oh, okay, this is decent. But
Really?
usually it's just kind of it's like the Walmart of hobby shops.
Okay. And that's basically the impression I've gotten, makes you wonder how they stay in business because there's not a lot of margins. It's tough business, but they sell toys and models and trains and all kinds of crap in the hobby towns, right? Like it's more traditional full service hobby shop than just RC.
Yeah, they have a little bit of everything, and
Okay.
I've been in a lot of hobby towns where there's a lot of blank space on shelves. Just
Oh, really? Okay.
a lot of blank space on shelves, and just they're not focused enough to their demographic. As a hobby shop, you got to focus on your demographic.
Yeah.
A lot of the hobby towns I've been in, they have a little bit of everything, and then they don't focus on their demographic well. So.
Yeah. You can't have a bunch of pan car shit if no one's running pan cars in the area. You can't have a bunch of crawler shit if everybody's racing. You got to know what's there, what your community and your region's about. Well, that's big. I guess once we're off here, I'll have to go through my emails. I hadn't checked them today. I probably should have. Usually I do around 4 or 5 o'clock, but I bet I'll have some emails from A-Main in there, so I'll need to look that up. And now technically guys like me are more competition for them.
Yeah.
Because there are hobby towns around me within like a half hour or whatever. So
it's going to change that.
Yeah, how's my relationship with them as a distributor and wholesaler gonna go now? Are they gonna kind of change that? Because we're competing with you. So, but at the same time, either way, they're making money. Whether they sell it to me, sell it in my store, they sell it themselves in Hobbytown.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be curious what they do with the hobby towns. Like, what's their end goal? Like, are they gonna keep them hobby towns? Are they gonna switch them to A-Main retail stores?
Yeah. Will they change the business model? Will they just focus on RC and mountain bikes? Will they be in everything store and not have any bikes? So,
well, and isn't Hobbytown franchise?
Wow. Big day.
Hobbytown's franchise, right?
Hobbytown is a franchise as far as I know.
Yeah, so that's
which means you're doing what they tell you.
Right.
They're going to tell you to stock this. They're going to tell you to price it this way. They're going to tell you to be open these hours.
Is A-Main going to keep doing that, or
they could change the whole business model?
They could go to like an RC Hobbies kind of thing,
where it's a license, and you just get that's because for me with RC Hobbies, I wasn't into it at first till I talked to the guy and learned. I went into that conversation with this is never going to fucking happen. I'm wasting my time, but whatever, we'll hear it out. And then I got the point of sale system. I got immediate connections with some of the companies to start off on a good slate, even though they don't really know who you are. At least you're affiliated with someone they trust. Signage, all that kind of crap. And then I do whatever the hell I want. No one ever checks in. Like, I'm fully an independent store. I control 100% what happens there and what goes on. But I've been debating and thinking about some things and big changes potentially in my life, spitballing that I don't know which way I'm going to go on. And now with things like USTE changing, A-Main buying Hobbytown, those are two big things that affect my decision in the grand scheme of things of where I go for the next 10, 15 years in life and what I do.
Yeah.
So I think 2024 is going to be a big year. You never know. I may have no news in a month or 6 months, or I may have huge news in a month or 6 months. Nothing to the level of like USTE getting postponed to 2025 or A-Main buying Hobbytown, because it's just little old me with one little shop in Orlando. But for me, it'll be big if I change directions and do different things. But that's a part of life, right? You got to mix it up. You just got to keep changing, even if you don't want it to, because otherwise you just get bored. What do we got going on here? You have 2 hobby towns kind of local, Oren. Are they any good? Do you like them? Is one shit, one's good? Bullshit, both good? They went after the Hobbytown games, toys, and such. Hobbytown's
A-Main might pick up some suppliers from Hobbytown
market.
before.
Yeah, they probably will, because Hobbytown being a big corporation franchised out, they've got some pretty serious buying power and hookups there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's part of what is attractive to making a hobby town is they probably get better margins than a lot of guys because hobby town is buying 5,000 of these to distribute out to hobby towns as opposed to them buying 5 on their own through the course of a year, for their store.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because if AMA wanted to bank, if AMA
I
wanted
don't
to
care
get,
for either one of them. Okay. Typical reaction to get about hobby towns.
I mean, AMA picked up a turnkey
Yeah.
retail storefronts. I mean, they picked up turnkey retail storefronts. That's
And I'm
really
curious. I don't have my phone on me. Google real quick. How many hobby towns are there?
I looked this up earlier.
Curious if it's like 100, 500, 250.
I want to say it was 100 something. Let me look. Real quick.
Okay. That would make sense. Approximately 2 plus in each state. I could go for that.
No. That says more. Damn. Let me see. It says more than 110. 110.
Okay.
So.
And I'm sure places like Florida, New York, California probably have an unfair bias. I think there's probably at least 8 or 10 just in Florida.
Yeah, there's
10%.
definitely more in some states than in others for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know if there's any in Michigan. I guess I could Google that. I'm curious, and if there's one reasonably close, stop by. There might be one in Detroit or Grand Rapids or Lansing or somewhere like that. Traverse City, maybe.
Yeah, here's AMA's press release. Let me look.
Yeah, okay. I bet that's in my email, so I definitely have to get there and read that tonight.
It says Hobbytown has 106 retail stores in 35 states.
35. Okay, that's a pretty good chunk of the country right there.
It's a big chunk.
I bet it's all the coast. The U of the country. And I bet the flyover states and the chunk of the Midwest is just vacant. But a lot of those places don't have enough towns to support a hobby shop like that, You can't open a hobby shop in a 3,000 person town and expect it to live more than 2 months before you go out of business.
Right.
You got to have a pretty good population, sadly.
So looking at their map, actually most of them are east of the Mississippi.
I believe that.
Yeah, most of them.
I mean, that's where most of the cities in this country are, aside from the coast on the left. Most of it's east of the Mississippi. So,
right, yeah, it's most of it's over that way. There's only
okay.
I would say 70% of them are east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I know the rest are probably in California, Texas, Washington, and Oregon, eh?
Back the map freaked out. I'm looking. Damn it, I messed up. Yeah, there's a few in like spattered like Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, Arizona. But yeah, most of them California, Oregon, and Washington all on the coast.
You guys out there that have gone to hobby towns and both dislike or like them, or they only dislike them or only like them, are you gonna now go into your local hobby town maybe you haven't been in for several years because you think they're idiots and it sucked? But in 6 months, you're going to go, well, shit, AMA's had 6 months to start to implement stuff. Let's see if it's changed. Is that going to affect where you go to buy stuff, you think, potentially? And whether you give Hobbytown another shot now they're under new ownership? AMA, from my experience, I don't buy a shit ton from AMA. I probably only spend $100,000 a year with them or something. So they're a much smaller vendor than me. I'm not spending $1 million plus a year with them or anything, but they've always treated me well as far as dealing with warranty issues and buying things. And if I have any other issues, the way their back order system's set up is a little wonky to me, but it works. You can deal with it. So I'd say they're a pretty good company. Hobbytown should be a win for Hobbytown. I would think they will improve Hobbytowns and what they stock and how they roll.
Yeah, I feel like AMAIN has a really good pulse on what's going on in the hobby industry.
Yeah.
So
they carry everything. Like if something comes out, AMAIN has it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're gonna I think they're gonna really help Hobbytown kind of clean up their act, probably is what I'm gonna guess.
I would think it's gonna be quite an improvement for hobby towns across the country, yeah. Again, it'll be 6 months probably before you start to see anything get implemented and really changed. But in a year or two, the hobby towns will probably be significantly different than they are now. I'll have to go in one now so I can have experienced the hobby town of old, and then go into one like 2 years from now, see what happened and how they change.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
So 2 big news things today.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? 9:46, 48, something like that. I guess I've bullshitted enough about what I need to, and I need to go hunt for elevators and parts and hope I didn't screw myself and buy everything but what I need. If not, maybe I'm lucky and there's one in the shop I can pilfer, and this can just become a parts jet for the next several
Like I said,
years.
it looks like it's just a pretty standard color. So
Yeah. Yeah, it shouldn't be hard to find. You know, if I have to, I could probably McMaster car it or Granger it or something, you know.
yeah,
Just got to know how to hunt. A couple measurements with the calipers, and here we go. It's 0.5 millimeter off. Don't give a shit. It'll work.
just got to keep it on.
Yep. Just got to keep it from coming off. Because if it does come off, I don't know if I'm a good enough pilot to handle losing it.
Well, you got one on the right side. You can use the measure. So
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, I guess we will wrap it up for tonight. Thanks for stopping in. Those of you that did, good to see you in the comments. Thanks for your questions and opinions. They're always appreciated. Big news day, a lot to think about. I think 2024 is going to be quite a shake-up year in RC, because I know of other things that are coming and changing and potential other stuff. And so we might have quite a shake-up here next year, which is exciting. Keep it interesting. Been getting bored the last 15 years now.
Shenanigans. These shenanigans.
Oh, you have a good one too, Warren. Be well, everybody, and I'll be working on jets and hunting parts.
See you guys.
Peace.